Governor Tony Evers is endorsing a large Democratic primary for governor after deciding to not run again next year. Evers made his first public appearance since that decision just yesterday, the governor making a stop in Appleton, meeting with local leaders for an ice cream town hall, also celebrating National Ice Cream Month. Some Democratic candidates have already thrown their hat in the ring, such as Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. Other candidates are expected to announce their candidacy, which would make for a large primary field. Evers believes that's a good thing for the state.
I think there's a primary for a purpose, and I think that I went through a primary. And at one time, there was 20 Democrats running for governor of the state of Wisconsin back then. That made me a better candidate.
Evers also spoke about not running for re-election in 2026. He said it was the hardest decision he's ever made, but wants to spend more time with his family.